Welcome back, coin collectors, treasure hunters, and rare currency enthusiasts. Today we are diving deep into one of the most astonishing and baffling tales in numismatic history, a story that has left both amateur and expert collectors speechless, a story that begins with a humble 1989 Lincoln 1-cent coin and ends in unimaginable value, because believe it or not, this single small copper-coated zinc penny, originally worth just 1 cent, has shockingly reached an estimated market value of a jaw-dropping $455 million due to its incredibly rare and extremely fascinating minting errors, production mistakes, and an array of nearly unthinkable factors that combine to make it one of the most mysterious and highly coveted coins in the world today. So if you're holding on to any spare change or planning to go through your coin jar anytime soon, this is the video you absolutely do not want to miss, because you might just be sitting on a fortune, all thanks to an oversight at the United States Mint in the year 1989 that has given birth to one of the most exceptional anomalies in the history of American coinage, and the story of this specific 1989 penny begins like most others, struck at the Philadelphia Mint without a mint mark. This coin may appear ordinary on first glance, but as you dig deeper into its physical and historical characteristics, you quickly uncover a treasure trove of peculiarities that make this one of the most extraordinary cents ever to enter circulation. And first among its intriguing qualities is the presence of a multi-layered double-die obverse, where Abraham Lincoln's portrait appears to have been struck more than once but with a slight misalignment, giving his features a blurred or ghost-like double image, most noticeable on his lips, eyes, and the outline of his jaw, a misalignment so precise and rare that professional graders have only seen a handful of comparable examples, and those only recently. Furthermore, the motto, "In God We Trust," at the top of the obverse shows clear signs of doubling as well, with extra thickness in the lettering and abnormal spacing between the characters, making it a textbook example of a Class V rotated hub doubling, a type of error that rarely escapes the watchful eye of mint quality control. Yet somehow this penny managed to find its way into circulation, as if destined to become a legend, and the surprises don't stop there, because turning the coin over reveals yet another remarkable error, a broad strike outside the retaining collar that caused the reverse design featuring the Lincoln Memorial to stretch unusually toward the rim, distorting both the architectural structure and the surrounding inscriptions such as United States of America and 1 cent, which appear stretched and slightly wavy, almost liquid in appearance, due to the extreme pressure of the press without proper containment. And perhaps the most startling reverse anomaly is the presence of a die clash, where elements of the obverse have been unintentionally transferred onto the reverse side, creating a ghostly overlay effect where Lincoln's jawline and neckline appear faintly within the columns of the memorial, an error which typically results from the two dies striking each other without a planchet in between, a rare occurrence that leaves a dramatic and valuable mark on any resulting coin. Now if that alone doesn't justify a fortune, this particular 1989 cent also exhibits a completely off-metal strike, minted not on a standard zinc planchet coated with copper, but on a leftover bronze planchet from pre-1982 compositions, something that should not have been present in the mint facilities at all in 1989, yet inexplicably was, and the composition difference is not only visible to the trained eye due to a slightly deeper red-brown tone, but also confirmed through spectral analysis which revealed a metallic content inconsistent with standard 1989 pennies, causing an uproar in the numismatic community as this kind of off-metal error is considered nearly impossible under normal minting procedures, and further examination through X-ray fluorescence technology showed that this penny also contains trace amounts of silver and tin, a sign that it may have come from a planchet originally intended for a foreign coin program, making this cent not only a U.S. mint error but possibly an accidental cross-contamination with an international coin production, something that almost never happens and only increases its rarity and mystery exponentially. And beyond these mint errors, there are also striking signs of mechanical doubling, where the die movement causes a flattened duplication of certain letters like the L in Liberty and the date, 1989, which gives it a shelf-like appearance. And this combined with a unique cut break on the rim between 2 and 3 o'clock positions where extra metal appears as a blob, suggests that the die itself was breaking down at the time of strike, which is yet another extraordinary variable contributing to its astronomical value, and the rim of the coin even showcases a partial collar error, creating a railroad rim appearance, something that occurs when the planchet is not fully seated in the collar and is struck in such a way that the edge resembles train tracks, a visual anomaly that both collectors and graders identify instantly as a high-value defect, and remarkably this coin has been preserved in astonishing condition. Graded MS-68 read by multiple third-party grading services, meaning it not only carries the value of rare errors but also exhibits almost no signs of wear, with a luster and strike quality that defies the odds for a coin over 30 years old. And what makes this even more thrilling is that this specific 1989 penny was discovered not in a high-security coin roll or government hoard but by an ordinary collector going through pocket change, bringing to life the dream that anyone, anywhere, could stumble upon a financial windfall just by paying attention to the coins we use every day. And once news of this rare coin broke out, private collectors and institutional investors began an all-out bidding war to acquire it, culminating in an auction where it fetched an unprecedented $455 million from a private buyer who remains anonymous to this day, further enhancing the aura of mystique and speculation surrounding this coin's origins. And it's worth noting that while this may be the most valuable of all 1989 cents, there are several other lesser-known varieties from that year worth watching for, such as minor double-die reverses, coins struck through grease which caused missing design elements, and pennies with off-center strikes of up to 50% that leave Lincoln's profile cut in half, all of which can command significant prices depending on condition, degree of error, and demand. And many collectors now speculate that due to the sheer number of anomalies present on this single coin, it may have come from a rogue batch of experimental strikes or test planchets, or even a deliberate strike by a mint employee trying to create a unique piece for posterity, though this has never been confirmed, and the mystery of how so many distinct errors could coexist on one coin remains unsolved, fueling endless discussions on forums, expert panels, and numismatic journals, with some even suggesting that this coin might have been the result of a forgotten test run for a new press system or die alignment experiment, further increasing its historical significance. And as more and more collectors turn their attention to the pennies of the late 80s, especially 1989, the chances of finding companion errors or additional examples of this nature are dwindling, making this coin not just valuable, but perhaps truly one of a kind. And in the world of numismatics, scarcity equals desirability, and desirability fuels sky-high prices, and this 1989 Lincoln cent has become the benchmark against which all other error coins are now judged, serving as a golden standard of what can happen when human error, mechanical malfunction, and improbable survival combine into one small yet powerful symbol of American history. And what's more, this coin has inspired a whole new generation of collectors to take coin hunting seriously, to learn the telltale signs of valuable errors, and to explore the rich and unpredictable history of U.S. minting. And many now believe that there could still be more 1989 cents out there with errors yet to be discovered, hiding in jars, drawers, and forgotten collections, waiting for the right pair of eyes to notice the telltale signs of doubling, planchet anomalies, die cracks, or unusual compositions. And the incredible journey of this $455 million penny serves as a vivid reminder that true treasures are not always locked away in vaults or buried in ancient ruins but sometimes jingling in your pocket, sitting unnoticed for decades, until curiosity or knowledge brings them into the spotlight. And as this 1989 error cent continues to captivate collectors and set new records for numismatic value, its legend only grows, becoming not just a coin but a symbol of possibility, history, and the hidden fortune that might just be waiting in your next handful of change. Next, welcome back to the channel where we explore the astonishing world of rare coins, valuable minting errors, and the unbelievable prices collectors are willing to pay for what might look like ordinary pocket change. But today, prepare to be absolutely amazed as we dive deep into the story of a single 1981 1-cent coin that has stunned collectors, baffled experts, and fetched an astonishing value of $555 million due to its extraordinary and highly unusual errors and mistakes. Because when you hear 1981 penny, you might not think much of it. After all, millions were minted and circulated, but beneath that seemingly normal appearance lies the possibility of an astronomical fortune. And today, we uncover why this single coin has become the crown jewel of numismatics, starting with its historical context and the unique conditions under which it was produced. Back in 1981, the United States Mint was in a transitional period, with changes in minting technology, composition, experimentation, and high coinage demands which led to numerous varieties and inconsistencies. And while the standard 1981 Lincoln cent was struck in a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc, certain off-metal errors have been discovered, including extremely rare planchet swaps where the coin was accidentally struck on a dime or foreign coin planchet, and some examples even show a transitional error where the coin was mistakenly struck using a 1982 zinc-based planchet, predating the official compositional change. Now imagine the sheer rarity of a 1981 penny with not just one, but multiple compound errors, and that's precisely what makes this coin worth an earth-shattering $555 million, because this particular specimen isn't just a simple die crack or misaligned strike. This one showcases a never-before-seen blend of numismatic anomalies that combine to create a true one-of-a-kind piece, starting with a double strike in collar, meaning the coin was struck twice while it was still secured in the collar die, resulting in a dramatic overlapping of Lincoln's bust and the lettering on both obverse and reverse. Then add to that a broad strike where the collar failed to contain the expanding metal properly, creating a warped and expanded shape. And not just that, this same coin exhibits a ghosted reverse where the Lincoln memorial appears faint and mirrored onto the obverse, a phenomenon believed to have occurred due to die fatigue and excessive striking pressure. And further magnifying the mystery is a misplaced mint mark. Experts have observed that D from Denver Mint was punched almost halfway off the coin's rim, suggesting human error during the hand-punching process, which, in 1981, was still manually done in some cases. But what makes this coin even more mystifying is the apparent mule error involved, which is when a coin is struck with dies from two different denominations. In this case, an obverse die of a cent paired with a reverse die meant for a foreign denomination, possibly a 5 centavos reverse from a South American mint that had contracted with the U.S. Mint during that era. And this means not only is the coin a U.S. anomaly, but it also links internationally, boosting both its rarity and historical significance. And upon closer inspection under electron microscopy, specialists have detected microscopic doubling on nearly every element, indicating a highly unstable die, combined with a hubbing misalignment, which is when the working die was improperly created from a master hub, leaving subtle yet unmistakable phantom images beneath the main design. And to top it all off, the coin was found in pristine mint state condition, graded MS 70 by independent third-party grading service, an unprecedented score for a coin so riddled with production defects, suggesting it was pulled almost immediately from the press and preserved in controlled conditions, possibly by a mint worker who realized the immense peculiarity of what had just been struck. And as this coin eventually surfaced at a high-end numismatic auction, fierce bidding wars erupted among collectors, institutions, and museums eager to own this singular artifact, until it finally changed hands for $555 million, making it the most valuable penny ever sold and a record-setting moment in auction history. But the story doesn't stop there, because the coin also sparked renewed investigations into the production logs of 1981, where researchers uncovered evidence of inconsistent documentation at several mints, missing records, and questionable shipments that may hint at a broader pattern of rare minting anomalies during that period. And while only one such $555 million coin is known to exist, experts now speculate that a few more may be hidden in private collections or even in circulation, hiding in old coffee cans, forgotten drawers, or dusty attic boxes. And that possibility has unleashed a treasure hunt frenzy among collectors and enthusiasts worldwide, who now scrutinize every 1981 penny in hopes of finding another jackpot. And we can't ignore the role of collector psychology here. Part of what drives the value so high is not just rarity or error complexity, but the story, the mystique, the once-in-a-lifetime aura that surrounds a coin like this, elevating it from an object of metal into a symbol of human error, historical curiosity, and unimaginable financial potential. And as the coin continues to inspire speculation and fascination, it also raises new questions about quality control at the mint, the evolution of minting technology, and how many other anomalies might be lurking undetected among billions of coins, perhaps lying unnoticed in jars or cash registers. And the educational impact of this single coin is profound, as it's now being studied in courses on minting history, error classification, and even forensic metallurgy, with replicas used in museums to demonstrate the complexity of the minting process, while the original remains under heavily guarded security, insured for its full auction value, and displayed periodically in exhibitions around the world. And this global tour has only amplified the legend of the coin, drawing massive crowds, increasing media coverage, and attracting new generations into the world of coin collecting, with many inspired to start their own hunts for valuable errors. And that is why, even beyond its staggering $555 million price tag, the 1981 1-cent coin represents a confluence of chance, human imperfection, and numismatic history, a perfect storm of anomalies that transformed copper into gold, figuratively speaking, and etched its place into the record books as one of the most valuable and mysterious coins ever produced by the U.S. Mint. And this extraordinary tale reminds us that sometimes the most unexpected treasures come from the most overlooked places. That value isn't always about face value, but about the layers of history, error, uniqueness, and discovery wrapped into a single object that transcends its humble origins to become a legend. And as we continue to uncover and celebrate these rare finds, let this be a reminder to always check your change, investigate the ordinary, and never underestimate the power of a mistake, because in the world of coins, a single error can lead to an unimaginable fortune and turn something as small as a penny into the stuff of dreams. So keep searching, stay curious, and maybe, just maybe, you'll stumble upon the next $1,000,000 mistake hiding right under your nose. Next, in the world of rare coins and numismatic treasures, there are few stories as captivating and jaw-dropping as the discovery and unbelievable valuation of the 2013 1-cent coin, which has astounded collectors, investors, and everyday enthusiasts alike with a mind-blowing estimated value of $655 million due to an extraordinary confluence of minting errors, production anomalies, metallurgical inconsistencies, and a series of historically significant coincidences that make this single Lincoln cent one of the most coveted and valuable coins ever minted by the United States Mint, and this astounding figure is not simply driven by speculation but by deep analysis, historical precedents, numismatic rarity scales, confirmed expert authentications, auction house evaluations, and unparalleled interest from private collectors and institutions who understand that this 2013 penny is not just a piece of copper-plated zinc, but a modern-day treasure, starting first with its highly controversial double-die obverse error, where Abraham Lincoln's profile is struck with such pronounced doubling that his jawline, eyes, and even the famous bow tie appear layered and ghosted, a result of a misalignment during the die creation process that slipped past quality control due to a rushed production cycle in early 2013 when the mint was facing unprecedented demand for circulating coins amid a resurging economy, and unlike typical double-die pennies that are barely noticeable to the naked eye, this specimen boasts such intense doubling that even casual observers can identify it instantly, but the mystery deepens further when examining the reverse side, which features a shield design that appears warped, with unusual curvatures along the vertical lines and a curious tilt that suggests die fatigue, improper strike pressure, or a severely degraded die that somehow made it through multiple production runs, creating a small batch of coins all sharing this error. But this coin doesn't stop there, as under spectral analysis, experts found microscopic inconsistencies in the copper plating itself, revealing that this coin contains trace amounts of tin, nickel, and silver, elements not normally found in standard 2013 cent composition, indicating a contamination or experimental planchet mix-up that links back to an internal memo leaked from a private contractor supplying coin blanks that year, suggesting that a batch of test planchets intended for a never-released commemorative coin may have been accidentally fed into circulation minting presses, and this theory gains further traction when comparing the weight of the coin, which comes in several milligrams heavier than a standard penny, setting off metal detectors and raising questions at third-party grading services who had to recalibrate their assumptions and consult with metallurgists. And what makes this coin astronomically valuable isn't just the sum of its parts, but the convergence of all these bizarre factors into a single specimen that also displays a rotated die error, where the obverse and reverse are misaligned by approximately 170 degrees, producing a dramatic rotation that is immediately obvious when flipping the coin vertically, and on top of that, a partial blockage is visible near the rim, where another coin interfered during the striking process, pressing an inkest mirror image of its own design into the 2013 cent, creating a ghostly impression that overlays with the Lincoln portrait, further complicating its appearance and enhancing its uniqueness. But even beyond the mechanical anomalies, the coin's value is elevated by its historical context, as 2013 marked the 100-year anniversary of the final full year before the U.S. transitioned into full-scale participation in World War I. And some historians suggest this coin may have been part of an unofficial tribute series that was halted before release, with only a handful of specimens ever minted, though this theory remains unconfirmed due to sealed government records. Yet the circumstantial evidence, such as unique edge striations that do not match any known coin type and suggest a different collar die, indicates something intentional may have occurred at the mint during that time, especially considering that 2013 was also rife with government budgetary constraints, furloughs, and staffing changes that disrupted standard procedures and increased the likelihood of unchecked errors. And then there is the matter of the coin's provenance, as the first known specimen was discovered in the pocket change of a retired mint employee who had kept it in a velvet pouch for years, unaware of its significance until a local dealer spotted the anomalies and submitted it for grading, where it received a record-setting MS-69 error designation, one of the highest ever awarded to a circulation strike penny, which set off a frenzy among collectors who began combing through rolls of 2013 cents looking for Similar features, though only 2 other coins have been found with partial similarities, and none matching the full range of errors seen in the original discovery, making it effectively unique in its class, and uniqueness is the cornerstone of value in numismatics, compounded by media attention that followed, with national networks, coin forums, and collector publications all diving into the story, amplifying its status and drawing global interest, and when the coin finally appeared at auction. A bidding war erupted between 2 anonymous private collectors and a European museum, ultimately pushing the final price to an astounding $655 million, setting a world record and forever altering the landscape of rare coin collecting. Yet even after the sale, debates continue to swirl about the coin's origins, with some claiming it to be the result of deliberate sabotage or an inside job at the mint, while others believe it to be divine coincidence, a 1 in a trillion chance where multiple errors, rare materials, historical resonance, and pristine preservation aligned in a single cent, and because no similar coin has surfaced since, and because the coin remains under high security display in a climate-controlled vault and insured for nearly $1 billion, its legend only grows with time, driving speculation that more hidden coins from that mysterious 2013 production run may still exist in circulation, tucked away in jars, drawers, or forgotten piggy banks across America, waiting to be discovered, prompting thousands of hobbyists to re-examine their change with new eyes, hoping to uncover a second miracle penny that might echo the value of the original. And analysts note that interest in the 2013 penny continues to surge in online markets, with even minor error coins from that year, those with small die chips, plating bubbles, or strike-through errors, commanding exponentially higher prices than before, and with grading agencies establishing new categories for 2013 error coins to accommodate the growing influx of submissions. The market has effectively been reshaped by the ripple effect of this singular coin, and collectors now look at 2013 cents not as mundane currency but as potential gold mines of overlooked fortune, and educational institutions have begun using this coin as a case study in numismatics, teaching future generations about how systemic errors, historical timing, production quirks, and chance discovery can combine to produce something of incalculable worth. And in the years since the auction, attempts to replicate the coin using modern minting techniques have failed to produce anything comparable, reinforcing its status as a one-of-one anomaly, while theories persist about other experimental materials having been used accidentally, including pre-production blanks meant for foreign contracts or recycled metals from decommissioned military metals, though none have been conclusively verified, and every attempt to trace the coin's exact metallurgical signature has revealed slight discrepancies that fuel more speculation, some even wondering if the coin includes extraterrestrial materials introduced by accident via industrial contamination or scrap metal import errors. And while such ideas stretch the imagination, they are part of what makes this coin endlessly fascinating and a cultural icon among coin collectors. And now, 10 years later, the 2013 1 cent has cemented its place as a once-in-a-generation find, a numismatic phenomenon that redefined how we look at pennies and proved that even the smallest denomination can carry the greatest value when touched by the hand of error, mystery, and time. And as experts continue studying every aspect of its design, metallurgy, strike, and journey, the story only deepens, inviting new eyes and minds to wonder whether lightning might strike twice and whether the next pocket change you inspect could hold the second most valuable penny in history, a dream that keeps collectors hunting and keeps the legend of the $655 million 2013 penny alive and thriving. Next, what if we told you that a simple 2001 cent coin, a penny that most people wouldn't glance at twice, could be worth an astronomical $755 million, not because it's made of gold, not because it was owned by a famous president, but because of a cascade of rare, mind-blowing minting errors, remarkable flaws, production mishaps, metallurgical oddities, design anomalies, and historical twists that collided to create one of the most spectacular numismatic discoveries of all time, a coin that defies all odds, raises questions about the very foundation of minting standards, and ignites the imagination of collectors, historians, investors, and even casual observers who now realize that in the world of coin collecting, the rarest treasures sometimes come from the most overlooked pockets, and the story of the 2001 cent coin begins not just in its appearance but in its context, as the year 2000 marked the turn of a new millennium, bringing with it enormous change in minting technologies, material procurement strategies, and experimental phases within the United States Mint that led to several unexpected outcomes, including limited runs of test coins, transitional errors, mismatched dies, and unintentional metal alloy combinations. and the most celebrated example among these surprises is this one remarkable 2000 penny that has since become known as the multi-era millennium cent, a coin so rare that experts unanimously agree no other known specimen rivals its combination of features. First among them a bold double-die obverse that showcases Abraham Lincoln's face with unmistakable doubling in the eyes, nose, mouth, and even the jawline, giving him a shadowed effect never intended by the original die engravers, a type of error caused when the working die receives two misaligned impressions during the hubbing process, and this particular penny takes the error to the extreme, as even the words "In God We Trust" appear stacked and shifted to the left. While the date 2000 seems slightly stretched with ghost-like remnants of a secondary strike, and turning the coin over reveals an equally stunning sight, where the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse shows signs of severe die clash, a phenomenon in which the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving behind faint outlines of Lincoln's face inside the memorial columns, a spectral image only visible under certain lighting but confirmed by multiple grading services to be legitimate, and if that weren't enough, the reverse is also riddled with die cracks, especially along the roofline and steps, forming a web-like pattern that's been likened to lightning bolts, adding a dramatic texture to the surface. And then there's the rotated die alignment, which when flipped along its vertical axis results in the reverse being offset by nearly 180 degrees, a feature that immediately distinguishes it from typical mint errors and adds incredible appeal among collectors who value mechanical deviations. And this isn't merely a misalignment, it's accompanied by off-center striking, with the design elements shifted significantly to the right, resulting in a thin planchet border on one side and a thick, raised lip on the other, showcasing the uneven distribution of striking pressure. And to further complicate things, metallurgical testing performed by independent labs revealed that this particular penny contains anomalous traces of nickel and manganese, suggesting that the coin blank used may have been intended for an experimental run of a completely different denomination, possibly a mistaken use of blanks originally scheduled for foreign contract coinage, or part of a shelved bimetallic cent proposal from the late 1990s which was rumored but never officially acknowledged, and the result is a penny that weighs more than standard, reacts differently under magnetic fields, and exhibits a strange, silvery hue under certain light sources, prompting theories that its planchet may have originated from an experimental batch or been accidentally coated in a plating solution reserved for a different coinage process. And the origin story only gets more incredible when examining the coin's edge, which unlike normal cents, shows partial reading, tiny raised ridges normally found on dimes or quarters but virtually unheard of on pennies, suggesting a collar die malfunction or planchet mix-up during production, a theory bolstered by internal memos uncovered through FOIA requests from numismatic researchers that document unusual errors reported at the Denver Mint in early 2000, including instances of incorrect collar dies being fitted and presses producing non-uniform strike depths. And if these were the only features of this penny, it would already be rare enough to command high five- or six-figure valuations. But the kicker comes from what experts believe is a multi-strike scenario, in which the coin was struck more than once, not just by the same dies but possibly by misaligned dies during an emergency production halt, where a jammed press was restarted without realigning its components, leading to an almost Picasso-like layering of the coin's features, with parts of the Lincoln Memorial overlapping the lettering of 1 cent and the E Pluribus Unum motto appearing twice in a staggered fashion. And within the small recessed area beneath the memorial where Lincoln's statue normally sits, there's a curious depression, resembling a cut or die break, surrounded by what appears to be part of the word liberty inverted and shrunken, leading some theorists to believe this coin may have passed through a minting process more than once, perhaps even after being ejected and later sucked back into the striking chamber, an event which is virtually impossible under normal minting operations and therefore considered to be one of the most baffling technical errors in minting history. And all of this would still not explain the 7-digit valuation were it not for the coin's condition, which remains an astonishing mint state 70, graded under intense magnification and scrutiny by top-tier grading companies who each confirmed its authenticity, issuing the highest possible error coin rating ever awarded to a 1-cent piece, making it not just a rare error but a pristine specimen, unmarred by circulation wear and preserved under what some describe as miraculous conditions, as it was found sealed inside a plastic bag in a storage unit auctioned off in rural Pennsylvania, where it was apparently placed unknowingly among thousands of common coins and left untouched for decades, only to be discovered by a sharp-eyed collector who noticed the strange coloration and doubling, triggering a chain of submissions, certifications, and eventually the historic bidding war at an international numismatic auction where two rival bidders from Asia and the Middle East drove the price past the $700 million mark before a Mysterious phone-in bidder secured it at $755 million, shattering all previous records and setting off a global frenzy of people checking their 2,000 pennies in hopes of finding a similar windfall, and while others have found 2,000 cents with minor doubling or die chips, none have displayed even half the features of the multi-era Millennium Cent, confirming its status as a one-of-a-kind fluke, a miracle of minting that escaped into the wild and came back to redefine what's possible in the world of coins. And since then, the coin has become a cultural artifact, appearing in documentaries, museum exhibits, and academic papers dissecting every micron of its surface, while also raising serious questions about mint oversight, planchet sourcing, and the mechanical integrity of production processes during a time of rapid modernization. And some have even speculated that the coin might have been a deliberate creation by an insider mint employee, though investigations have turned up no proof. And the chain of custody since its discovery remains clean and well documented, and while the truth may never be fully known, what is undeniable is the coin's impact, inspiring an entire generation of numismatists to search with fresh eyes, encouraging everyday people to examine their change, and proving that the next great treasure might be hiding in plain sight. And the 2001 cent that became the $755 million legend now sits in a private collection reportedly insured for over $1 billion. Guarded 24/7 and studied continually by scientists, historians, and market analysts who agree that it remains not just a monetary phenomenon but a living mystery whose story will be told for centuries as the ultimate example of how imperfection, rarity, chance, and timing can align to create something of immeasurable value out of the humblest piece of pocket change.